Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Tier 6 Soviet Valor Award tank, the Object 244. Now this is a tank you don't see running about all that often, and I think it's a tank that doesn't get the credit it's due or it deserves, because this tank is actually pretty solid at Tier 6. It's quite a lot of fun to play, and I think it gets overlooked because of the fact that you could earn the Su-130PM, which is a very good Soviet TD, and a lot of people got it, and a lot of people play it. You see them all the time. The T-95E6, which again is a pretty nice Tier 10 medium. It's not brilliant, but then it's a Tier 10, so that's the one that everyone talks about. And the Kampfpanzer 50T, which is a fantastic Tier 9 med. I've featured it countless times on this channel. I love playing it. It's a very, very good tank. So it kind of probably got overshadowed quite a bit by those tanks. So you don't often see people showing stuff for it. You don't often see people playing it. It is quite a fun tank to play. It's essentially it is an IS, but a tier lower at Tier 6. It's got the same armour. It's got mobility that's pretty similar to the IS. It trades it out though, the gun. So instead of getting the 122, it gets an 85mm. And the DPM on this 85 is not that bad. As you can see, the reload is pretty nice. It's 5.54, which is quite good. It's the same gun that's on the T-34 85, which means, you know, it's got 0.35 accuracy, 2.3 aim time. It's not too bad. So like these guys pushing us now are coming into a nice view for us, because we're only giving them our turret to shoot, and we can just keep working them over with the gun. We're going to keep trying to track people like that. We've got 180 alpha, which is quite nice, and if you can keep the gun working, you can really wreck people's day quite quickly. And generally it's just a nice tank to play. It does, like I say, it gets overshadowed quite a bit, and it probably doesn't get the airtime that it deserves. You can work about the battlefield quite nicely. You can keep the gun working. The DPM, like I said, the DPM is good. The accuracy is good at 3.5. Like 5.5 reload is fully pimped. So that's with food, brothers in arms. I also run on this tank, because this tank can't run vert stabs. I run rammer, optics, and vents. So this is as good as the reload can get. As we shut down this Panther nicely here. So far, we've put the gun to work. We've managed to, with the help of Mac, run this flank quite nicely. And we're now just going to chase down what's left to kill. So there's this STRV, there's a Tiger 131, which is an always a dangerous tank to face. Now, our team pushed the beach as well, and has destroyed everything on the beach and is coming up. I don't know how beach players work. Well, to be fair, I think quite a few of their tanks went to the beach as well, but yeah, typical Overlord team go to the beach. But don't matter, it didn't affect this game. Usually does. The accuracy lets us down a little bit there on the IS-2, and we're trying to get the gun elevation, but it's not working. He's also hiding behind a bunker, so we're not going to get a good shot at him. This Jagdpanther over here, we'll try to get shot at. We're going to switch to premium because we might struggle with the 144 base pen that this thing gets to pen that. So we're just going to launch the 194 Prem round at him, and it goes in quite nicely. So now we've got this Tiger 131. He's not really focused on us. I track him, which is quite nice, but he repairs it. And we're just going to keep dropping rounds into him. Unfortunately, he shoots and pens us, but he's not going to last much longer, because Mac's going to shoot him. I'm going to shut him down. And there's one tank left to shoot. There's just that IS-2 that was behind that bunker, and this game's as good as done. Now that IS-2 will hurt us. We've not got the health to go and take a hit from him. He will kill us quite nicely. So we want someone else to go do it. I think Mac's still quite healthy, so he's just going to rush in and go do things to him. But we're going to spot him first. And like I said, we're in a nice place here where he will really have to expose himself to kill us. So we're just going to try and track him right now. Like, he gives us a little bit of the lower plate, so we're thinking about that, but we're not going to get it. So we track him. And I think, yeah, he repairs it. And unfortunately, we're not going to get any assistance on this. But he pokes out a little bit more, so we get a nice shot into him. Mac face hugs him. He pops another shot into him. He's now a one shot. And we finish him off. And like I say, this tank's not bad. It's actually pretty enjoyable. And I just think people completely overlook it because it's tier 6. You can have some good games in this tank. And it doesn't matter about the tier all that much. If you're in a tier 8 game, clearly you're not going to do too much. It is blind as a bat because it's only got about 340 meters view range. But that's an ace tanker in this game. 16,000 XP, I don't know if I was running it. Well, it's 5 times XP weekend by the looks of it. So that was quite a nice amount of XP. 36,000 credits, which is good. 26 shots fired, 20 hits, 17 pounds. Like I say, the gun for a Soviet heavy tank is actually pretty accurate. It's quite nice. Like I say, it's typically blind for a Russian heavy tank, so with only 340 view range, so you're not going to get much spotting assist. But generally, yeah, it's good. And when you're matchmaking like this, I know it's not the most tier 7s in the world, but you are basically a tier 7. So you don't mind C tier 7 all that much, because you are one. So when you're top tier, sometimes it does feel a little bit like cheating. I have no idea what that T-37 is doing there. He is doing light tank things and YOLOing. So we've come to this position on Westfield. I do like to brawl on this ridge line, but the gun depression on this tank is not quite enough to want to keep fighting there. You do have to overexpose yourself a little bit too much. Like, this tank has 5 degrees of gun depression. Like, I have to fully come over to give them my side, but like, if they come into the positions they have now, I can work them quite nicely without taking hits myself. So like, this Skoda T25 is in nice places, nice position for me to keep shooting at him. And it's all about just making sure I'm keeping the gun working. This P43 is a bit of a danger to me because I'm scared he's going to start shooting me in the butt. But we'll try and pop a shot at that guy and it misses. Now this T23E3 is a bit of a scary tank to face because his DPM is delicious. It's really good. His gun handling's not great, his shot velocity's not great, his pen's okay. It's a Pref tier 7 medium tank that is a lot of fun to play and it's very, very good. So we also want to kind of get rid of it because he can rip us to shreds. His reload's something like 3.01 seconds. It's ridiculously quick. But thankfully, he's left. He's decided that he don't want to take any more hits from me, so he just disappears. And we spot, like I said, targets just keep popping up for us, which is nice. And if tanks keep doing this, where they get in front of you and let you just keep working them over, they're going to get punished very, very fast, because this gun and this DPM is unforgiving for the enemy team. So no one's really focusing right now, so I'm just going to keep shutting people down left, right and centre. And we've got this VK3001P who's sadly stock, so we get rid of him. And again, this T23E3 is backing up. We get a shot into the top of his turret. He's now not as much of a threat as he was, he's only 93 health, but we do kind of want to get rid of that. That's a stock Tiger one, so it's easy pen through the sides of his turret. We're up to 2. This is how quick it is though. We've been, what, 3 minutes of this game, we're up to 2.7k damage. And to be honest, the enemy team haven't made it that difficult. But it's just what this tank can do. We see that Skoda making a break. We shut him down nicely. And now there's only 4 tanks left. So we've got this medium, this Tiger one. And we're going to see what we can do. And then we spotted, well, an 87 gets spotted at the back. We don't spot it. Like I said, this thing's blind. So seeing that guy was not what we were going to do. And with 144 pen, we are going to struggle to pen that guy if he faces us. So when he gave us a side like that, it was quite nice because that meant we could actually pen it. But if we have any hope of penning that Cupola, especially at the distance, we are going to need the premium rounds. But this is where the .35 is going to let us down a little bit. We bounce on him there. And we're just, we're getting 3 shots at him, but they're just not hitting. They're not hitting, so we're not getting what we want from it. And like I say, you can see there I'm getting a bit straight with the gun. And we don't get to get any damage on him apart from the one we got on the side of him. Now there's only the 25 left. God knows where he is at the minute. And we're just going to go chasing now. And sadly, I don't think I'll get anything more from this game, because the E25 will get a spot somewhere where it's just not accessible to me. But you can see from, you know, running about, the mobility on this tank's nice. Like, you see that little fight there, the gun handling was alright until that final bit when we needed to snipe at a weak spot. It was a good range, it was 300 odd metres away. DPM was good, so we could get a lot of quick damage off. We're going to get a Scout medal because Scout 244. It's a pretty nice all-round tank. I'll say it's one of those that does just get overlooked because of the fact that it was a free reward tank paired up with some other tanks that are nice, very nice tanks, but a lot higher tier. So they're the ones that get all the guts and the glory, basically. And I think it's, you know, it deserves its place. It deserves to be recognised as a nice tank. Now that E25 gets spotted up there, and we're not going to get any shots at him unless we actually rush across the gap on Westfield. But, like I say, unfortunately we're not going to get there to get anything off at him. And that's the end of this game for me. That's where this tank's, you know, not too great when you've got to be chasing the damage across maps, because there's tanks like the mediums and that we're always going to get there, but that's a heavy tank problem generally. And this E25 YOLO's into the medium tank. Oh, it's a T23 E3 who just, I think that's the thing, the T23 E3 has got a pretty similar DPM to an E25. Pretty similar reloads. The reloads are pretty much the same. So he just crushes him. So in that game we get a high caliber, ace tanker, Confederate, Scout medal, because Scout heavy, IS, why not? And like I say, this tank is enjoyable to play, gets overlooked, and I'd recommend playing it more. If it's been sat there in your garage after you earned it and you looked at it and thought it's just a tier 6, I'm not bothering with that, then I highly recommend you go play it. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.